All right, everyone, let's just take a breath and settle in because we've got a mountain to climb in this one. Apologies if I came in a bit hot at the top there, just feeling a bit on edge, and judging by the reaction online, I know I'm not the only one. The comments after Sunday's match were, well, they were a bit of a war zone, to be honest. We're not used to this, are we? Celtic losing big games? It still feels like a bit of a foreign concept. And because it's such unfamiliar territory, talking about it properly is hard. Maybe if we were, covering Rangers every week, we'd have the hang of this. But for us, we're stumbling our way through it a bit, and that's okay. It's raw, it's real, and there's a lot to get through. Let's start with a wee glimmer of light in all the gloom. Something positive that actually came out of the weekend. Celtic are officially seeded for the UEFA Champions League playoff round. That's right. No Bauder Glimt nightmare, no Red Star Belgrade, no Ferencvaros ambush in Europe this time round. We've dodged a bullet, and it's all thanks to Dinamo Zagreb bottling their domestic league. Their failure to win the Croatian title pushed them out of the Champions route, and that opened up the door for us to move into a seeded spot. Now, it might not sound like a massive deal to some, but believe me, it's a difference maker. Being seeded means we avoid some of the usual European banana skins that have tripped us up in recent seasons. Still, let's not pretend everything's sunshine and rainbows. We might be seeded, but we still don't know who we're going to face. That's the weird part. You've probably seen all the clickbait articles already. 5-team Celtic could draw in the Champions League playoffs. But truth is nothing set in stone just yet. There are still qualifying rounds to play, coefficient calculations to consider, upsets to happen. That said, based on current standings and assuming the favorites go through, we could be looking at a tie against someone like Basel or Sturm Graz. Both champions in their respective leagues and both starting in the same round as us. But again, that's just projections. We won't actually know until the draw, and even then it's likely to be a bit of a Team A or Team B situation. One thing I will say though is this. I take being seeded over not being seeded any day of the week. Because let's be honest, the difference between facing Bodo Glimt and, say, Slovan Bratislava is massive. And I know there's always that cynical take of, does seeding really matter? And in some ways, fair enough. You still need to beat what's in front of you, but it gives you a fighting chance. It narrows the margin for disaster. And let's face it, we could do with a break in Europe. Now, if we zoom out a bit and look back to Saturday or Sunday if you watch the replay, that game still stings. Losing a cup final never feels routine. It's not supposed to, but the manner of it, the way we lost grip of a match we were in control of, that's what makes it harder to take. I mean, for large spells, it looked like we were just coasting. We had the ball, we had the rhythm, and Aberdeen didn't offer much. And yet in classic football fashion, one mistake turns the whole thing on its head. That Kasper Howler. What can you even say about that? Just a total gift. And from there, it felt like the game flipped. Momentum shifted. Belief drained. And before we knew it, we were staring down penalties. You can analyze that game to death. And trust me, we will. But sometimes it really is just about moments. We were one goal up and cruising, and then suddenly we're hanging on, scrambling, hoping something falls our way. And I think that feeling of helplessness is what's left fans so deflated. The fact that we couldn't put the game to bed. That we looked leggy, unimaginative, like we were just waiting for something to happen, rather than making it happen. That's not the Celtic we want to see. And look, let's be fair. This team has given us trophies this season. They delivered the league. Now, they bagged a cup earlier in the year. It's not like they've thrown the whole campaign away, but what this result highlighted more than anything is that there are cracks. There are gaps in the squad, gaps in mentality, and questions that need answered. Where's the cutting edge when it matters? Why do we fade in the big games? These are not just rhetorical. These are issues that need sorting before next season. It kicks off. Take the squad depth, for example. You look at our bench on Saturday. It's not horrendous, but is it inspiring? Not really. And in extra time, when we're searching for a winner, what do we have left? A cobbled together midfield. Guys like Greg Taylor playing out of position, attackers who don't really strike fear. It felt more like patchwork than purpose. And that's not just a fluke. That's the product of a squad that, for all its talent, lacks the depth to sustain intensity across a full season. And yeah, the injury list didn't help. No Hatate, no Jota. Those are game changers, but It's not just about injuries, it's about how we've managed the squad over the season. Letting Kyogo go and not bringing in a proper replacement, that's on the recruitment. Banking on guys like Ida to carry us in the biggest moments. That's a gamble that didn't quite pay off. And we can't keep pretending the center of defense isn't a problem. It is. Has been for a while. Needs fixing. Now I've seen the comments from fans, pundits, podcasts saying we lacked urgency, that the team didn't look hungry enough. I don't disagree. There was a weird flatness about Saturday. Even the goal celebrations, or lack thereof, felt muted, like everyone was just going through the motions. And when the team scores in a cup final and barely celebrates, you know something's off. Maybe it's fatigue. Maybe it's mental exhaustion after a long season. Maybe it's just a bad day. But it adds up. It wasn't just that match either. The run-in after Christmas, bar a few standout performances, felt like we were limping over the line rather than charging through it. Trophy day? Underwhelming, final, deflating. It's not about throwing the toys out the pram, but it is about acknowledging that something isn't quite clicking anymore. The fire that carried us through the first half of the season, especially the mad period with European matches every few days, it's just not there right now. And maybe that's normal. Maybe it's just a natural ebb and flow of a long campaign, but we can't ignore it. I mean, think back to earlier in the year, that buzz around Nicholas Kuhn, Dyson tearing down the wing, O'Reilly bossing the midfield. Fast forward to now, and it feels like we're talking about a different team. Kuhn looks predictable. Defenders know he's going to cut left and cross. He's become easy to mark. Maeda looks knackered, and while O'Reilly's been consistent, even he can't carry the whole squad. We've got questions all over the pitch. Can we get Kuhn back to form, or is it time to cash in? Do we need a new striker to really challenge? In Europe, what about the defense? And who's stepping up if McGregor isn't fully fit? These are big questions, and they need answers. Not in September, not when we're halfway through the group stages, but now, over the summer. This transfer window could be the most important in years. Because let's not kid ourselves. If we go into next season with the same squad and expect different results in Europe or the cup finals, we're dreaming. We need reinforcements. We need energy. We need hunger. And I get it. It's hard to stay objective after a loss like Saturday. Everything looks worse. The players look slower. The tactics look flawed. Even the kits look worse somehow. But we've got to find a balance. We can't overreact, but we also can't pretend everything's fine. It's that weird place in between where most football analysis lives. Recognizing the achievements, but not shying away from the issues. So maybe it was just a perfect storm. Fatigue, injuries, bad luck, poor subs, individual errors. It all piled on. But that doesn't mean we write the season off. It was still successful. 2 trophies, a dominant league campaign, some great European nights. That's not nothing, but it's also not enough. Not for a club like Celtic. Not for the ambitions we claim to have. The good news is we've got time now. Time to reset, reflect, and rebuild. No winter break made this season feel like a marathon. With no water stops. Now at least we get a bit of rest. And I think we all need it. Fans, players, coaching staff. Take a breath. Put the season to bed and come back in July with fire in the belly. And if this loss can somehow fuel that hunger, then maybe it won't be the worst thing that ever happened. Still, there's plenty more to dive into, especially on the individual performances, the manager's decisions, and what needs to happen this summer. But for now, let's just sit with the reality of it. A cup final lost, a chance at a treble gone, a reminder that even dominant teams can fall short when it matters most. And maybe, just maybe, a wake-up call that this club needed. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. There's been a growing buzz swirling around Celtic Park as whispers about Dyson Maida's recent injury begin to circulate among fans and insiders alike. The Japanese forward, known for his blistering pace and eye for goal, reportedly suffered an injury that has left supporters on edge and the club's future plans in question. While no official statement has yet been released by Celtic FC, the murmurs in the Scottish football community are gaining traction, suggesting the injury might be more serious than initially hoped. Sources close to the club hint that Maida's Setback could sideline him for a considerable period, stirring concern over how the Hoops will adapt in his absence. Given Mader's impact since joining, his potential unavailability might leave a significant gap in Celtic's attacking options, especially as the season intensifies. Rumors have it that the medical team is conducting further assessments, with a cautious approach being taken before any firm prognosis is shared with the public. Fans have taken to social media, expressing both worry and speculation over what this could mean for Celtic's ambitions this season. Some suggest the club might be forced into the transfer market sooner than expected, eyeing replacements to cover for Mader's absence. Others are hopeful that the injury is minor and that the forward will bounce back swiftly, ready to rekindle the excitement he's brought to the squad. The speculation also raises questions about how manager Ange Postecoglou will tweak his tactics if Mader is indeed out for an extended period, possibly giving more responsibility to other attacking players or promoting youth talent from within. While the full details remain under wraps, insiders hint that the injury occurred during a recent training session rather than in a competitive match, adding a layer of frustration to the situation. The timing couldn't be worse for Celtic, who are navigating a crucial phase in both domestic and European competitions. The murmurs also speculate on the possible nature of the injury. Some suggest it could be muscle-related, while others fear a knock that might require surgery and a lengthy recovery. As the days go by, the Celtic faithful are bracing themselves for an official update, hoping it brings some relief. Until then, the air at Celtic Park remains thick with anticipation and nervous chatter about the fate of one of their most promising forwards. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain: Dyson Maeder's injury has set tongues wagging, and the coming weeks will be crucial in determining how the Hoops navigate this unexpected challenge. Hello, fans! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.